Here is a famous skyline of America, and here is the Golden Gate. In between are teeming cities and quiet villages. This is a fair land, a great land. But over this fair land lies the shadow of a man. His name?
I'm George. George, you know, the fella you let do it. I'm the guy that's running your country. Your state, city, your little hometown. You don't like that, huh? Well, why don't you like it? Aren't you the people have been saying I'm too busy, let George do it? Well, I've been doing it. Yes, sir, I've been doing it. You know why I've been doing it? Because as long as you Americans do nothing but complain, nothing more, understand, I can get away with it. Sure, you can run around talking about self-government. Self-government. You realize 40 million of you didn't vote last election? 40 million of you. You call it self-government? Well, why should I get you wise? You know, I'm the guy that made Hitler, Mussolini, fellas like that very successful. I paved the way for them. You betcha I did. And I can continue to pave the way as long as you do nothing about it. Who was that fella? Burke, Edmund Burke. He says the only way evil can triumph is for the good people to do nothing about it. And it's working out pretty good. Of course, there's one little movement that's starting to put a crimp in my style, and I don't like it. It's that Christopher movement. They're getting you people wise to voting and stuff like that. But I got a hunch you're not going to pay any attention. And I will continue to run your government. Continue to tell you what to do. You'll sit home and beef about it, but that's all. I'm George. I'm the guy you let do it.
Perfect. You read it wonderfully.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you something. How come you got me doing a creepy character like that?
Why not? Isn't it true? You know, it's all over the country. People are letting others do it.
Yeah.
While the good people are taking care of themselves, all over the world, it's the same story. The evil people are taking care of everybody else. Now, Danny, the reason I got you here is we're going to do a movie on that book, Government is Your Business.
Oh, you're a producer now?
No, not a producer, but the movies are a good way to reach a lot of people, and you ought to know enough about the movies.
Yeah,
you can help me. Well, we're trying to get people to get out and vote.
Oh, you're telling people how to vote now?
No, not how to vote, to vote. They have an obligation before God and man to fulfill their obligations, their responsibilities as citizens. We don't tell them what to do, what party to join, or anything else. All we want them to do is be on their own. We establish our position right in the first pages of the book. We leave it to you to stand on your own 2 feet, to make your own decisions, to join or support any political party you like, to vote as you see fit, to take whatever stand you consider best, and to decide for yourself which organizations you will join to add your voice to that of others. It is between you and God. Isn't that fair enough?
That's very, very fair. As a matter of fact, it's very fair, very honest, and very vital. I appreciate very much, Father, that we should vote, regardless who we vote for.
We say right here on the top of the book, as the subhead of Government is Your Business, either you run your government or government runs you. America began on a great principle. Not long ago, I was coming back from Europe. I'd been given a few talks on the Christopher's over there, and I was very much impressed by what a little woman, I don't know where she came from, but she'd been kicked around in Europe, and she was coming over here to make her home. She'd gained admittance to the country, and she was so enthused about getting to the United States. She got up early, before dawn, to see the coastline. You know what it is coming into New York.
I sure do.
Well, everybody that came up to her, she bubbled over with enthusiasm, and the people sort of liked it to have somebody from outside our country get enthusiastic, all except one man, one young chap. He was a senior from some college. I don't think he meant any harm, but he started telling her the bad side of America, the faults.
Well, where do you learn that? In school?
I don't know where he learned it, but he was on the downside of our country, not on the up. Well, she listened, and very pleasantly, very patiently, after he got all finished, she made a very good statement. She said, I don't care what you say about America. If it's twice as bad as what you say, it's still twice as good as any other country I've ever heard of.
Well, I tell you, I've been away from our country 3-4 times. And believe me, those are my sentiments to the T. Every time I come home, I say, regardless of how it's going, thank God for it. It's still the greatest.
Well, it began on such terrific principles. I'm afraid many of the people today don't know how it began. Now, Danny, I feel that most of the people are well disposed.
Sure.
Many of them don't know. Many of them don't know the origins of American government. I would like to point out to you, as well as our audience, certain things in the Declaration of Independence that I think are very significant. We've made all sorts of tests, and we find that the vast majority of Americans have never once read the Declaration of Independence.
No, how true.
We inquired in Washington, in the Federal Bureau of Education, and we find that only 9 states and 48 states require the teaching of the Declaration of Independence in the schools.
Yes, I don't believe I was ever taught the Declaration of Independence.
Well, we take it for granted. We're like the man, he said he was out fighting for the Bill of Rights. Somebody said, oh, what are the Bill of Rights? And he said, well, I don't know, but I'd die for them. You know, the old story. Danny, I have a copy of the Declaration of Independence over there. Do you mind looking at it with me?
Not at all.
Very good. Here it is. Right, very clearly, Declaration of Independence. Congress, July 4th, 1776. Unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. Dan, I wish you would read for the audience the 4 spots in here where the Founding Fathers emphasized our dependence upon God. It's very significant. There are 2 at the beginning and 2 at the end. Would you read them?
There's the laws of nature and of nature's God. They took no chances, huh?
No, nature was good, but they wanted something above it. God himself. Nature's God.
Yes, and we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator.
It's so significant. They said that all men are endowed by their Creator. Not only Americans. We haven't got any copyright on it. No monopoly. All men. Now,
Yes, and appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good, isn't it? They recognize an authority beyond. They feel an accountability to some higher power, to God Almighty.
With a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence.
Lincoln put it so forcefully. This nation under God. A few people, not many, but a few who are on the job day and night, they want to make it this nation without God. Let's keep it this nation under God.
Yes, and Lincoln also said, Father, I believe it was in a speech or a letter, I don't remember which, but he said to the effect that unless we all recognize that human beings are made to the divine image, living has no meaning, no hope.
Yeah, he said so many emphatic things, significant
He
things.
was a beautiful man.
He certainly was. He was a real American.
Yeah, true.
Now, Danny, I'm going to show you over at the desk, if you don't mind, some of the changes. Most people have never seen them. As a matter of fact, I didn't see them until a couple of years ago. How Jefferson wrote in his own hand insertions in reference to God. There was only, in the first draft of the Declaration of Independence, there was only 1 reference to God, and that was in the first sentence. Danny, would you come over to the desk and I'll show it to you?
All right.
Pardon me. I have it right here in my drawer. Now these, there's them 2 pages, but you notice right here in the second sentence, in Jefferson's handwriting, it said originally, from that equal creation they derive inherent rights. Now, Jefferson crossed that out. You can recognize it's the same writing, and right above it, he wrote in himself, they are endowed by their Creator.
In other words, he made it emphatic.
He couldn't have been more clear.
Yes.
He didn't want to take any chances. Now, there were two other references that were put in after. Jefferson put in one down here in appealing to the supreme judge of the world. That's a write-in, too. You notice?
Yes.
It wasn't an afterthought, but they wanted to be more sure. They wanted to emphasize that point. And then they turned it over to Congress with those three references. Very few people realize that Congress made that addition, relying upon divine providence. They put it right in the end of the Declaration. That's the way the country was established, and that's the way we ought to keep it. If you get enough people who know this and fight for it, I'm pretty sure that the country will go along in unending peace.
It's very enlightening, Father.
There it is, Danny. That's the doctrine on which we're going to base our picture. Government is your business. I want some suggestions from you. I'm going to let you read the scripts, and you can give a lot of good ideas. You can be very helpful. But it's good old 1776 basic American doctrine.
I'm really glad I came. Of course, I sum it all up this way, that we owe our allegiance to two factors, to Almighty God and to our country. That's all.
No, I'd add one, a third factor.
Oh, yes. Mrs. Thomas.
Hello, Miss
Father.
Thomas. Nice to have you here.
Thank
Sorry
you.
you
Nice
didn't
being
hear him read the Declaration of Independence.
I did a bad job.
Remember, dear, the parent-teachers meeting.
Let George do it.
Let George do it.
So sorry.
Let Danny do
Yes,
it.
I go. Well, take care.
I will, Danny.
See ya.
Thanks very much for coming.
Robert Young is coming over, huh?
He's coming in a little while, and he's going to carry on from where you left off.
Would you do me a favor?
Yes.
This character, George, I wish you'd let Bob do that because, I don't know, it's kind of a mean character, and I can't do it.
Don't worry, Father. He can do it.
See ya, huh?
Very good.
Come on.
Goodbye,
Thank you,
Father.
Miss Thomas.
Bye.
Thanks, Danny.